Hello and welcome to the final edition of World Cup Prime Time. I'm Jay Rado right here. Of course, a fantastic FIFA World Cup in the books. One of the best in my lifetime, of course. But I can't speak for the history books. And it's been a pleasure for me to be covering it here on the Star. And the World Cup, it's an amazing tournament. And I really think that it's a tournament that needs to be seen every 4 years. It's when it happens, it's amazing. When it's not on, we're jealous that it's not on. That we wish it was on. Of course, the next one is in the winter time. Probably not going to get as many people to watch that as they did in Russia, the biggest country in the world. And then we'll have 2026 summer in the United States. That one is going to be amazing. Of course, I wasn't around when the first time that the World Cup came to the United States. It'll be in the United States, Canada, Mexico in 2026, with a good share of games being in the United States. But I do love that Canada and Mexico are supporting 10 games each. But really, it's not much different. Maybe, I'm not sure what city it is in Mexico, but one of the cities is really hot, and that's about it. It's only one city that they have heat problems. They're probably going to have a really late game or a really early game when they do play the games there. Something, but for us, the games are in a very good climate. But my concern with games in the United States is the weather. It's like every other country. I'm like, is there not going to be a weather delay for this World Cup? For any World Cup game? I'm like, I turn on United States sports, and usually every once in a while they won the outdoor ones. Like for NFL, there's weather delays, but let's get right to the World Cup. My thoughts. Let's go to the group stage. We had Group A with Uruguay winning the group and Russia coming in second. I was shocked about how bad Egypt played. They were a very big disappointment for me. They just didn't show. Like, I seriously thought that I was going to see better from Egypt, and this didn't happen. But I tip your hat to Russia. They took advantage of the group that they were placed in. It's not their fault that they got an easy group. It's FIFA, and FIFA's not like Russian or something. A world. And but I was very surprised on how bad Egypt played. But I wasn't surprised on how Russia played. I expected them to play better than my expectation, but I didn't expect them to score 5 goals in the first game. Okay, that did succeed all expectations that I had for that. I didn't expect them to score 5 goals all tournament, let alone on opening day of the tournament. I come home from wherever I was, and I see, because I was busy that day, of opening day, and I see that the World Cup has, for the Russia's up 2-0, and then in stoppage time, second half stoppage time, they scored 2 more. So, and they also scored 1 before that. So 5-0 in the first game. Let's go to Group B. The actual first game of Group B was won on an own goal for Iran over Morocco. Now, this was 2 days after Morocco lost the bid for the 2026 World Cup. I expected them to play the chip on their shoulder today, but they played really defensive. And it didn't help that they gave up an own goal. And it was a game-winning own goal. Late, really late, real late game. I think that was a very exciting day to see two late goals that were winners in both the Uruguay game, and then that was probably the best day of the tournament for actual games. Was day 2. We had Uruguay over Egypt. It was a fantastic game. Then we had Morocco against Iran. Again, late goal. Those are very defensive, but then probably the best game of the whole tournament and one of the best World Cup games ever was Spain and Portugal, which I love. I love seeing high scoring games with superstars, and that's what we got. But you don't want to see outrageously scoring games. That game was under the lights. It seemed like that felt like a World Cup final to me. Like the one that we better be getting in 2026. They don't like playing World Cup finals at night. Sucks. But it's all right with me. And they might actually play the 2020. If they play the 2026 one at night, they better not play it really later. They'll probably play it afternoon, but not at night. What time did they play? Whatever time they played the Brazil one. I think that was an afternoon game. So probably be like a college football afternoon game. So then the rest of that group was insane. Group B. Ronaldo, he exceeded my expectations for the first game. I didn't expect him to get a hat trick this stage in his career. But other than that, it was chaos in Group B. I liked it. Group B was one of the best groups to watch. This full 6-game slate that they provided. Let's go on to Group C. France and Australia. That was a good game of France-Australia. France had just played the United States in a friendly, so. But that was another good game. Of course, I didn't get up in time to watch that game. I was up in the morning, okay, and I was still recovering from the Portugal-Spain game, which I watched like 1.5 times because it was such a good game. Okay, that was probably the only game I watched once and then replayed it. I did watch penalties for England when they won over again. Penalties against who did it have been against? Colombia. But what's Denmark and Peru? I didn't watch much of that game. But all in all, really good group. But Australia, they had good moments. I love the penalty kicks that we saw for them. But of course, not enough. Okay, let's go to Group D. Argentina. Iceland was probably up there in the top 7 or 8 games in the tournament. It was a morning game, I guess. But yeah. and it was all right. You know, I watched it with my cousin, and I loved it. I like watching competitive soccer, and Iceland really that underdog story that carried out, and because it's their first World Cup, they obviously didn't get to win the whole World Cup, but to be able to draw against Argentina and Messi and all the pressure, and it was good to see that. Sometimes draws are good and sometimes they're ugly. Um, that was the France Denmark game, the 0-0 draw. Uh, but also Croatia throughout the whole Croatia and Argentina. That was a really good game. If you were a Croatia supporter for that game, I probably was. They had no clue that Croatia was going to win. Of course, they did, and it was fun to watch. Okay, um, but that's about it for that group. Croatia, Iceland. That I didn't feel good after watching that game. It was how Argentina made it and Iceland didn't. It's just like Croatia was trying real hard on that last match day. I'm like, boys, all you need is a draw, Croatia, and they plan for their lives. That's that's the energy Croatia needed at the end that they just didn't have. All right, um, but all in all, that group was overall right, the average. It did produce the runner up, and also produced a flunk in Argentina. How about what was the next one? Group E. That'd be Brazil, Switzerland. Um, Serbia and Costa Rica wasn't a great game, honestly. Um, oh, Switzerland and Brazil was a good one. It was a good one. And then on the next phase, Costa Rica against Brazil was an amazing game. Even though it was 2-0, it was 90 minutes of soccer where unpredictability. I watched that game. I think it was on Friday, but I wasn't busy at all. Um, and then they finished out the group. Switzerland and Serbia, I think, drew. No, I don't. I don't remember. No. Serbia had the lead, then Switzerland won. Switzerland did win. So then the Swiss drew against Costa Rica. Brazil won. That group was good for the first three games, I guess, and then it really just tipped off and disappointed at the end. Except for Costa Rica was a good show for the last two games that they didn't show in the first game against Serbia. But they played decent in the last two games. Only 1 point all tournament though, after 3 matches played. The next group would be Group F, one of the best groups. So, all right, Mexico and Germany and Sweden all in this group. Of course, I didn't. I watched the Mexico-Germany game. That was an entertaining game. All right, that was great soccer. Of course, Mexico. Mexico was not expected to win. They did win. And then that was another really good game. How the story of Mexico getting through that game clean. And also, what other game was there in that group? there would have been. I didn't really. Sweden, South Korea was about average. It was really terrible. Then we got to the second match day. South Korea against Mexico. I think it was 2-1. Something, and well, really a good game. I didn't watch the full game. I watched like the first half. But then you had the later one, Sweden against Germany, which was one of the only games I didn't watch at all. I didn't watch that game at all, and it was probably the best finish of the tournament. Germany coming back to win. Of course, Germany didn't make it out of the group stage, but they got so they were so close to not even having a chance on the last match day. They were going to be eliminated, right? Well, they wouldn't technically have been eliminated if they wouldn't have scored that goal, but it'd have been more likely. Mexico would have been through. Mexico probably would have rested starters. And yeah, a lot of crazy stuff would have happened. But it didn't happen that way. Germany won. It was an amazing goal, one of the best goals in the tournament. And then what else do we have? What else? What games happened? Group H. Group G. Group G. Poland. Oh, the Colombia game against Japan. That was just disgusting to see a red card at the beginning. Okay. Please don't throw a red card at the beginning of the game. You're better than that, refs. I love that game. I love that group as a whole. That's like yeah, and then that group. All right. The Poland game against like Colombia or something. Real good ratings for that game. And then the other game would be the other group would be the Belgium and England group, which turned out to have two of the top 4 teams the entire tournament. So yeah, that group was terrible though. The group stage games were terrible. It did have the Tunisia England game, which was the only bright spot of that whole group. Was that one game out of the 6 games? That was the only good game, which ended in dramatic fashion. Okay, England almost didn't even win their first game. Okay, so Tunisia almost got a draw against England, but England somehow pulled a miracle. My game was over when that game took place. We're going to cut it short here. World Cup review. I think we're going to do a separate video for the knockout stage because it just took so long to get to the group stage. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm J Rod saying so long. Peace out.